Okay, welcome to part 2 of our How We Make the Videos series. I guess it's a mini series. Maybe, I mean, depending how this does, maybe we could do this occasionally. So where did we leave off?
So the next one is equipment.
Equipment, okay. And we were talking about shooting the video, and I kind of rushed through some of that. But just when we're shooting the video, a lot of what we do, especially for the comedy, I wanted to say, is like spontaneous. We come up with ideas on the fly.
Yeah.
And so like, especially for the comedy, I don't want to overwrite things to the point where there's no fun left in it. So Jillian and Addie definitely contribute a lot of lines. Jillian has, you've written stories.
I've written stories, yeah. I wrote a pineapple like ate my sister.
Right.
And I wrote the Three Little Dolls one.
Right. You wrote one about a chicken. Wasn't there a chicken or
the chicken
becoming
one.
a chicken?
Yeah, I was like, I turned into a chicken or something. I forget exactly what it's called.
But
and Addie and I during the whole videos were constantly just like joking around, and sometimes that turns into lines and stuff too.
Absolutely. Yeah. So those, I think the comedy ones are definitely more fun for us to shoot. Oh, whoop. It's not to say I dislike shooting the other ones, but I think with the comedy ones, it's just a little looser and it feels a little bit more like play. But anyway, so there's a lot of these things we could go into far more detail, but let's just move on. You said it was...
Equipment.
Okay, equipment. This is another thing, a lot of new people who are new to shooting videos, they think you need to buy all this equipment. You do not. If you are watching this right now on a phone, you have all the equipment you need to make a video. Our first few candy reviews we did were on a phone. We actually had, when we started making videos, we had an old DAT, or mini DV, I should say, camera where it ran a tape. It ran a digital tape, and it took forever to load that tape onto the computer. So eventually I went to a digital camera where I can just take the memory card. And so I have a Canon. I don't even know what it is. It's a Canon Vixia, I always say, whatever. But I use a camcorder. Now, some people like using like a DSLR camera, but I think they're a little too complicated for someone like me. I'm not a photographer. I don't have a photography background. So I have literally a camcorder, and I know camcorders are kind of going extinct because everyone's got phones. So the camcorder does, I did upgrade the microphone, so we get a little better audio than we would, but we don't use like body mics or anything like that. My philosophy with technology is just get exactly what you need and don't get more. Like, you don't need to surround yourself with all this fancy stuff. Like, we have some lighting, but we don't set up every shot and light every shot unless it looks dark. And then I say, okay, I need a little supplemental light here. But we're not out for like a perfect look. We're out for, we're making this and shooting this video in 3 hours or less, and then we're done. Because I mean, this isn't their whole life. A lot of people might not understand. Like, they're regular students, you know, they have many things they do besides just videos, and most of their week has nothing to do with videos. It's just this little window of time on the weekends. So, but anyway, only get the equipment that you need. And like I said, if you have a phone and a flashlight, like, you have enough. You can make, I mean, there's a lot of good videos that I've seen that use not much more than that. So, anything else? Oh, tripod if you need. Like, a lot of the shots where I am in the shot, I have to tripod them. I will occasionally have them hold the camera, but mostly and if you want to do an effects shot, and we won't get too much into effects, it helps when the camera's still. If the camera's moving, it's hard to do a convincing, you know, green screen effect or an overlay, but that's a little too technical. But yeah, what else we got?
Sound effects and music.
Okay, sound effects and music. So you don't need to buy a sound effects or music program, but if you want to take your videos to like the next level, you should get like some kind of sound effects or music. Now, YouTube has a ton for free. So, and you're allowed to use them. So with music, you have to be careful not to use music that you don't own. Otherwise, the music label will claim your video and they will take all the money from your video, not just a little bit, all of it, which is kind of ridiculous. So either use the music that YouTube gives you or get a subscription that to a music or sound effects service that provides those things for you and lets you use them in videos without taking, the money you would make. So this isn't a plug, but we use Epidemic Sound. It has a pretty good music selection, a pretty good sound effects selection. But you can make your own music. We've done that before, and you can make your own sound effects. A lot of times, those are the best ones. Like if you need a very specific sound, like I don't know, I'm going to drop a spoon on the floor. Well, just drop a spoon on the floor and record that. Then you have that sound effect. And I do that with vocal effects a lot too. I'll, distort my own voice, stuff like that for some of the monster sounds. And but yeah, selecting the music though, believe it or not, sometimes comes first. Even before the idea, I'll hear a song that I really like, and I'll be like, "Ooh, I have to work this into a video somehow." And sometimes the music will suggest imagery to me. And I find those to be some of my favorite, and I think some of our best videos where the music's actually pulling you in at the beginning, like something different. But a lot of times I just have kind of a background scary, gloomy music or a background funny, spooky sound, because there's so many little decisions you make in a video. If you get too caught up in them, you'll just take forever. Like we're in the business of making one video a week, every week, plus the vlog. So I can't be too precious about every single perfect sound. You just have to move on at certain things. Like we used to make them slower, where they were more like just projects that I would take weeks, months, whatever.
Yeah, the one was like years.
Yeah,
like
Kids Superheroes took over a year, I think. But it wasn't that I was working on it a whole time, and I was still working a full-time job, on top of that. And then we all have our lives, to do too. So, but anyway, all right, what else?
Editing,
okay. So this is another area where a lot of people think, oh, you need to know all this stuff about editing software. You need to have all this knowledge. Like I had no audiovisual background besides like stage crew in high school. And I'm a fan of watching movies. I did not know how to use editing software. I found one, our first ones, I would record, and then when we were done with the scene, I'd stop. Then we'd record the next scene. And so if you messed up the scene, I would have to rewind it over the last scene. So that's called in-camera editing, where you're just shooting linear, just you get one shot or you got to rewind it. You can't put in sound effects, that kind of thing. So at a certain point I found Windows Movie Maker, which was a free program. It was on Windows. It may still be out there, I don't know. But I realized with that, I could put little titles, I could change background music. I learned just like a couple little things at a time. And this kind of goes back to what I was saying about like only spend money on what you need. I think I said that in the equipment video, or did we say that in this one? Only learn what you need to learn. You don't need to learn every single option of your software. You just need to learn exactly what you need to make the video that you're making. And so don't overwhelm yourself and slow yourself down, because I think all those things are like forms of procrastination, where you tell yourself you're making the video, but you're not really making the video. Like what's my expression I always use about getting things done?
The only thing that gets things done is getting things done.
Yeah. Getting things done is the only thing that gets things done, which it sounds stupid and obvious, but yeah. I mean, literally, if you're not working on the video, you're not working on the video. So you need to, but anyway, getting back to editing software, what I use is called Power Director. It's not what I would call professional grade. It's more consumer grade editing equipment, which means it's easy to understand, it's easy to use, and it does almost all the things I need it to do. I mean,
they have like a free trial version that I see people use a lot that just has the watermark on it.
Okay, yeah. So if this isn't sponsored video, but if you're curious about Power Director, try the free trial version.
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
Jillian learned to use Power Director even for the video.
Anyone can do it.
What's nice is you can put on your titles, you can put in transitions, and then you can play with it. A lot of times I will simply play with, different features on it, and then I'll be like, oh, I could use this in a video. And then you can do green screen as well. So that's nice. You can overlay effects. If you have a green screen, even if you don't have a green screen, if you have a blank wall, you essentially have a green screen, because you can remove any background color, as long as it's fairly uniform and not too shadowy. So yeah, I use Power Director, and Power Director, once again, not a sales pitch, but Power Director is like the cheapest full-featured or close to full-featured editing program. It's like, I've seen it for like $60. It goes for sale for even less, 40 some dollars, which when you start seeing how expensive like Adobe, what's the Adobe one? After Effects and Sony Vegas, when you see how expensive the professional grade ones are, I mean, you'll definitely be...
I think Apple does like
Right.
iMovie.
Yeah,
also,
iMovie.
which is-
So if you have an Apple, yeah, we're not Apple people, but if you
Yeah,
have an
we're
Apple thing, you can use iMovie, and that's free too. I mean, a lot of big YouTubers, that's all they use. Like Adam the Woo, he's a big vlogger. That's all he's ever used is iMovie. So, I mean, don't get too bogged down in editing. The idea is, what can I use to move forward as quickly as possible? And speaking of which, we're starting to run out of time, so let's keep going.
Okay, next one is thumbnail.
Okay, thumbnail. So many people, they make this video, they might even make a really good video, but then they put a terrible thumbnail on it. Like, when you are shooting your video, think about the thumbnail while you're shooting the video. Okay, you can even use your camera that you're using to shoot the video. That can be your thumbnail one. Some people do just pull an image out, and occasionally I've done that if it's a good image, but sometimes the lighting isn't right. But you want an impactful image that people will see that, and right away they'll kind of get an idea what the story is, what it's about, you know, what they can expect to see in the video, and it just catches their attention. Your thumbnail is going to be on a page with 20 other thumbnails, or it might be shrunken down to a tiny little phone, and so it has to really grab attention. Faces always do well. If you look at our thumbnails, you'll see we like faces. We also will show the monster of the week, the prop of the week, whatever. You know, it could just be a dark hallway. It could be anything like that. But it's got to be impactful and, yeah.
I think something that like is really cool that you do where you have the screenshot of like the YouTube page and then you put your thumbnail on top of it to see if it jumps out. That's really helpful.
Yeah, Jillian's talking about, I do something where occasionally, especially if I get a couple ideas for thumbnails and I'm not sure what's the best one, I'll do like an A/B testing. So I'll literally screenshot the YouTube homepage and then I'll drop in a couple of our thumbnails and I'll say, and then I'll ask one of them, I'll say, hey, come over here, which one grabs your attention first? So they'll say, oh, that one, you know, and that helps because it's like you get to test drive the thumbnail basically before you make the video go live. So title and description, is that, oh, I'm taking your line away.
Title and description.
So that's just another area where people mess up. You've made this great video, you might even have a pretty good thumbnail, but you give it this terrible title that no one's going to know. Like, you might have a title that's very personal to you, that sounds like a good title, but if YouTube doesn't know what to make of that title, they're not going to know what to do with it.
Yeah.
So like, it does result in titles that aren't necessarily my favorite. It's ones I think that will get the algorithm to present the video. Because there's been times where I have a working title, and if you watch our videos, Addie will say, so that was such and such, but a lot of the times you'll notice that the actual title that we use on YouTube changes from what Addie says. So, because sometimes I'll just realize the title isn't working right, and other times I'll enter the title in too to see, okay, what results is this pulling up? If it doesn't pull up results that I think belong around our type of video, I don't use that title. Like, I'm going to go get this out to the people who will actually want to watch the video. So it doesn't help. Like, you know, we could do a video called like how to find a ghost, but if I realize that when you enter that, it's pulling up like a completely different genre, like maybe how to like fix a sink, or you know, that's just an example, then there's no point using that kind of title. Even if you think it's a great title, you have to kind of say, well, wait, what's my best chance to get the most people to watch this video? So, and then we have description. Each of these topics I could go into at vast length. I feel like I'm talking way too fast, and we've already done this in 2 parts. I probably could do more. So if this is interesting to you, if you want to know more about this, if you have additional questions, you can let us know on Instagram, right?
Yeah.
Yep. So how was this for you?
That was good. I had a couple things that I added, and that was good.
Okay, do you have anything else you want to add? Oh, the reason Addie's not here, by the way, is Addie has a life too. Addie's busy with some other
Addie's
things.
Busy.
And so there's nothing wrong with Addie. We're not kicking Addie off the channel. It's funny that people like will start all these, where's Addie? You know, Addie's fine, don't worry. So, but anyway, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. And don't worry, we're not going to do just this kind of video. Yeah, we're still going to have vlogs. It's just the pandemic, the longer that went on, and then a lot of things are closed this time of year. But we're going to get back out there and be doing, you know, cool, fun things that you guys like to watch. So, bye. So that was 15. That one's even longer.
Moving furiously.
Yep.
Kicked out of Baby Teeth.
I'm kicked out of Babyteeth.